Hi everybody, welcome. My name is Meike Babel. I'm a former top 30 WTA pro, 19 times Grand Slam competitor. And today I want to work on how to effectively come into net and how to cover my approach shots best. So before we get into that, onto actually where I'm hitting my approach shots, I want to just clarify a couple of things. Number one, what is a good ball to come on in with? So one of the things that my dad always used to tell me was, come in with the ball where you have both of my feet well inside the baseline. So if you're somewhere 18 feet behind the baseline, it takes you way too long to get up to net. So that's not a good ball to come in with. So as you're striking the ball, both of your feet should be well inside the baseline. Because what I want to get to is my first volley position. And to my mind, the best first volley position is somewhere in the last 3/4 of the service box. I don't want to come in too close because that leaves me open for the lob. But from this platform here, I can bound either way depending on where my opponent is hitting the passing shot. So again, rule of thumb, both of your feet inside the baseline to gain your first volley position. And of course, the ball that you need to be able to do that is a ball that bounces around the service line. Now you see world-class players coming in with different balls, but since I'm more catering towards recreational players, that is where we want to be. Ball short, around the service line, inside the service box, when we have both our feet inside the baseline. So now that I've identified what kind of ball I need to come in with, let's talk about where I want to hit my approach shot. Now, of course, if your opponent has a blatant weakness, let's say they have a really hard time passing you with their backhand, then by all means, no matter where the shorter ball is, go and attack the backhand. But let's say you play an opponent that's able to pass you with both forehand and backhand in pretty much equal ways. Then it becomes a little bit more about where the ball that you're getting is bouncing. That really then dictates to my mind where I want to hit my approach shot. So let's say you get a ball that's bouncing fairly in the center of the court. So again, I can have both of my feet inside the baseline and I want to approach with that shot. To my mind, I have everything open for this shot. I can go cross court this way and I can go cross court this way. And of course, I can also go up the line here and up the line there. Those are the options that I have when the ball is inside the middle of the court. And here's why. Let's assume this scenario. I have a shorter ball that sits in the middle and I'm attacking my opponent's forehand. So what's going to happen is I pull my opponent out here and I'm coming in. Now, if I'm hitting the ball over here, my opponent has two most extreme angles that she can pass me with. She can either go here up the line, or she can hit a cross-court ball. I want to be in a position where I'm cutting this whole angle here in half. It's also called the bisector of an angle. So my math professors will be really happy that I actually remembered that. So it's somewhere about here. And that gets me in a position where if I'm moving diagonally to my volleys, I can cut those angles off. And I'm leaving my opponent very, very little and low percentage passing shots over the higher part of the net. So if she passes me on that one, great. Then she might be a better player. But I'm forcing her to hit a high quality shot. So on this position, if I'm in the middle, it's absolutely okay to go cross court with your approach shots. Let's look at when you don't want to go cross court. So let's assume I'm getting a ball that bounces somewhere around here. So by my rule of thumb, you can still come in with that because you probably have both of your feet well inside the baseline and the ball is around the service line. However, if I'm now going cross court, my opponent still has the same most extreme angles. And for me to get into an ideal volley position about there, I have a lot more room to cover than when I'm coming from about here. So it just takes me too long to get into a good volley position, and it leaves too many holes on the court that my opponent can expose. So that is why when you're outside of that middle section and you want to come in, it's better to come in down the line. Here's the scenario when I do want to come in down the line. So it's the same ball that I just showed, only that it's now a better option for me to go down the line with, because if I'm coming from behind the ball and I hit it to my opponent's back in here, going down the line, I have a much shorter way to come in to my bisector of an angle. That is about here. Remember, my opponent has two most extreme angles, one here and probably one here. So I want to be on this position here, in this position. If I had gone cross court, I would have to cover a whole lot more ground. So that is when you come, or that is why when you're coming in and the ball is outside of the center here, I would suggest you go down the line, even though it's the higher part of the net and the shorter part of the court, because you're just quicker in a good volley position. And from here, if I'm moving diagonally forward to both of my volleys, the most extreme volleys that I could potentially get, I can cover her highest percentage plays over the lower part of the net, of course, through the middle. So again, if she passes me here with a little dink angle shot, then she's probably a pretty good player. But then I'll still go up the line with a similar ball to ask her, hey, can you pass me twice or even 3 times? Now, if she can really do that, then okay, she's probably Martina Hingis. Let's add some real life examples of 2 of my clients, Donnie and Mindy, who gave me this footage, which is awesome. Let's add that to our Saturday session here. So these are examples of where I think a down the line ball is better. So what I'll do is I'll just let the point run, and then we'll go over the details. So here on this one, Donnie has a ball that clearly does not bounce in the center of the half here. So it's very far out. It's a short ball. I think it would have been a better idea to go down the line, because to get into his best position to cover that down the line ball, he only has to move to about here and not all the way over to the bisector of an angle over here. So to me, that is one example where you go down the line. And it just leaves too much room, and it just forces him to hit a way too difficult volley there. All right, let's look at the next point. Again, let's go back here and do that a little slower. So again, short ball, absolutely. Ball bounces around here. He's got his feet well inside the baseline. And to go cross court, Mindy has these angles here. She can go down the line, or she can go cross court right back behind him. So that is another issue. Changing direction is always difficult. So Donnie would have to come all the way over here, which that is almost the most extreme angle that Mindy is going to hit. And that is just too far. He has too much room to cover. So a much easier ball on that one would have been just hit it up down the line and literally just follow that ball into about here. Fewer steps, more balance, and just a better play. So on that one, same thing. I actually would like to see one other thing before that, before she comes in on that. If you hit a really good, deep, aggressive ball here, and you see that Donnie is running basically parallel to the baseline, I want my player to step in already, because it's only going to be a very passive, very short ball. And a short ball is what Mindy is getting, and she's missing the approach, which I don't mind that necessarily. But even if Mindy had made this shot for her to cover this ball, if she goes cross court, she would have had to move to about here. Whereas if she goes up the line with this ball, she literally would just have to take 2 or 3 aggressive steps to be in a fantastic volley position. So go up the line on this one here. So the next few points, you have plenty of options because the landing's somewhere here in the middle, in the center of the court, and you have options. You can go cross court or you can attack down the line. Either is fine. So let's look at these points. So that's the ball Mindy has in the middle, and we can just go back to here, see where the ball bounces around the service line. Mindy has both of her feet inside the court. She could have gone right back behind Donnie or just pull him wide, and that's what she chooses to do. So that is a really good play right there. Again, middle ball, and gets a fairly easy ball, although I would have liked the approach shot to be a little deeper because it's barely longer. Well, it's about on the service line, but that does not necessarily concern us as much. Again, we go for our rule of thumb. Ball bounces somewhere inside the service line. Obviously, Mindy has both of her feet inside the baseline, and she's got everything open. She can go cross court or she can go down the line. So well done here. So I like that play there that Donnie is putting on here with that chip that forces a short ball. So let's look at that one more time just to throw up the rhythm a little bit. But it does produce, again, a very short ball well inside the baseline, going up the line this time and winning the point. Again, same thing. And then we got one more here. In the middle. Now, if that happens, I don't have a problem on this ball at all because everything was exactly what we talked about. The ball bounces very short and the feet are well inside the baseline. Donnie's actually hitting a fairly deep approach shot. Can't really see exactly where it bounces, but he's on his way into the best position to cover. The only thing that I'm probably going to say is at this moment right here, as Mindy is about to hit that ball, I want a more decisive split step of Donnie's here and a little faster coming in because you're kind of sauntering there a little bit, Donnie. So let's look at that. And that's just a good passing shot. Now, if that happens and somebody passes you with that, then that's okay. That's just a really good play. So I just wanted to give you a few more examples of where somebody's choosing being too far back in the court, and that just leaves too much time open to get into a good volley position. So those are examples of when you probably should choose to stay back. So to me, that was not necessarily a clear approach shot because as you're hitting the ball here, both feet are outside or just about on the baseline. The ball is short enough. So one thing, if you do choose to come in with that, you've really got to haul hiney and get in there quickly because as we see, Mindy is able to get the ball down below net line right here. So Donnie has a really difficult volley there. So that's one ball where I probably would have chosen to stay back another ball or two and restructure the point. So on this ball, I probably would choose to stay back because that's a good deep serve. So let's see where the ball bounces here. Right about there. And about baseline is where Donnie's making contact here. So to me, that's a little too far back. So I think there were other options in this match where the serves bounced a little shorter. That is when you attack it. And it's perfectly fine if you go into the point with the mindset, okay, I'm going to attack that ball, but then if the serve is deeper than you thought, then just stay back and pick a better option. Because again, here Mindy is doing a really good job getting the ball down and forcing Donnie to hit a really good volley, which he's actually missing there. So I hope that helped. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you like these type of videos, then please make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also share with your friends, because that's the best way to support me and this channel. Thank you.